ahead and get started with this afternoon, evenings Ask Dr. Kelly OMD. I'm Dr. Kelly OMD, your board certified OBGYN. Welcome to the Viva Life SPF Me webinar. We call it Ask Dr. Kelly OMD. I'm a board certified OBGYN and healthcare executive here to help you live your healthiest and wealthiest life. Tonight, we're doing things a little bit differently. I am being interviewed instead of doing the interview. Normally, we have me doing the interview of different subject matter experts, but I'm interviewing today. So I'm so happy to have here my college friend and currently Coach Harold Stewart, who's going to introduce himself and tell us who he brought with us and why they're here. Harold?
How you doing? Coach Harold Stewart, founder of Texas Collective Track and Field Club. These are some of my athletes that are part of my pre-college initiative program. I introduced this program just recently with our new club, and I want to introduce you to Peyton Jackson.
Hi, my name is Peyton Jackson. I'm a junior at Tombaugh Memorial. I'm just here to learn more about how you get into the medical field because I've been very interested in it for a very long time.
Okay, my name is Braylon Campbell, and I go to Grand Oaks High School, and I'm basically here because I'm really fascinated with it, and I want to learn how to get into the medical field and like what there is to do in the medical field.
Hi, I'm Victoria Mason, and I'm here on this call tonight because I really want to learn like how to go through the process of getting into the medical field and experiences as a doctor that you've had inside of the medical field.
Hi, my name is Kwamina Onuma. I'm a senior at Bridgeland High School, and I'm here tonight just to learn more about the medical field because I'd like to know more about it before I fully commit to it in college.
Love it, love it, love it. And you know what? I brought on my friends too. So I have people that are in here that are physicians, that are nurses, that are healthcare executives, and also a part of the different armed services that may be able to give you some insight on, I don't know, scholarships, as well as some of the other STEM fields. So we are very excited to have you all here. Thank you so much for asking me to do this for you. And whoever is in the room understands that the knowledge is actually in the room. So every question or answer may not come from you or me, but it'll come from each one of us. So let's go ahead and get started. You know, this is going to be a lightning round. So whoever's going first, have at it.
I'll go first.
Sure.
So my first question is, what were the steps that you took into becoming a doctor?
So the steps that I took, and you know, there's going to be just your consistent steps, right? So you got to do well in high school, got to do it well in college, go to medical school, residency program, and then after that, you become a staff. But what I will definitely tell you is, although that sounds really easy, step 1, 2, 3, 4 is not as easy as it seems. So what I would say is know that this is something that you really want to do. Being a medical professional takes a lot of long hours, hard work, focus and determination, and you really want to truly love what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're doing it with. Now, in regards to college, so graduating from high school, I really, really recommend that you all are strong in the sciences. If you're not strong in the sciences now, then get stronger in the sciences as you go along, as well as in college. Also, be well-rounded. So you are athletes. Continue with that athleticism in any way you possibly can. If you're going to go to school on a scholarship, wonderful, but make sure you get an educational scholarship and an athletic scholarship if you can, to make sure that you continue to keep yourself healthy, because you need to be healthy mind, body, and spirit in order to navigate all of the things that you're going to go through. As you are choosing your college, choose a college that has a great track record. So many of us on here went to Xavier University of New Orleans, Louisiana. Many of us also went to different historically Black colleges and universities. The reason why I support these and I highly recommend them is because of the atmosphere that you're going to be in. You're going to be with like-minded people who strive for excellence, and they're going to support you, not only during college, but like Coach Harold and I, we're supporting each other now. So 25, 30, 35 years later, you're still going to have that support networking system. If you so choose, yes, Tuskegee's in the house too, HBCU. If you so choose to go to a non-historically Black college or university, make sure that you find out, okay, what is this pre-med? Who is the pre-med advisor? And who is going to help me through these scenarios? Whether that be somebody in your family, your close friends, or through your college or medical school, you're going to need all of that.
I do actually have a question. I was gonna ask, what exactly is there like an undergraduate degree? What was your undergraduate degree before you go to medical school? 'Cause I'm pretty sure you take an undergrad, and then your graduate school is medical school. And then my second follow-up question, apart from that, is that if you got an educational scholarships for your undergrad, did those also transfer over to your medical school scholarship, or did you have to get different scholarships for specifically medical school? I just want to know, like, how does that work just for finances?
Great question. I love those questions. Okay, so the first question, as far as the undergraduate major, I chose to major in biology and minor in chemistry. At Xavier, we have a pre-med track. So they're always going to recommend to you that you take one of the strong sciences as your major. Now, do you have to do that? Absolutely not. But you definitely have to make sure you get all the prerequisites done, which are your hard sciences and biology, chemistry, physics. And then you're going to have to do something like a social science as well, a language as well. But making sure that you're getting all of those biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, physics in place, that's going to be really important. As far as, your minor, you can choose to minor in anything that you want to minor in. But I definitely recommend that you remain thoughtful about, okay, where am I going? Because even though I was a biology major, as well as I was very focused on psychology, because I knew becoming an OBGYN that I'm going to have to utilize those skill sets that psychologists use in order to talk to our patients and be a part of their, let's make this a collaborative experience rather than a dictatorial or parental type experience. So the second question was about paying for school. I think that's what the question really was. So I did get scholarships for undergrad. I did not get a athletic scholarship. I got a academic scholarship. So you can get partial scholarships from the school or full scholarships from the school. You can also, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you apply for every grant and scholarship you possibly can find. I even tell people, especially when they are in high need, apply for stuff that doesn't necessarily include you. I will tell you that I've had a student that had a scholarship, a full ride scholarship, that unfortunately was not able to continue with that scholarship. I said, write your story up, and all those people that are advertising scholarships and grants, then make sure that you send them your story. And if they have any money left over or, just space in their heart, then go ahead and apply for that. There's a lot of people there's a lot of ways to get different scholarships. Now, my scholarships from undergrad did not transfer over to graduate school or medical school. So medical school scholarships can sometimes be different. So I got a health profession scholarship. So the military paid for my entire medical school. Okay. And so that means that I did not have $400,000 worth of debt when I came out of medical school. When I came out of medical school, I had a little bit of debt from undergrad, and then I paid it off in my first year of being a staff member after residency. Remember, we said you go to high school, college, medical school, residency, and then you become staff. So by the time of my first year staff, I had no debts. Let's see. We have a comment that says, you may wish to consider a service ROTC. That is so true. There is a scholarship. There are several scholarships that are now. So you can Google ROTC scholarship. There is a scholarship. I know that I'm sure the Air Force has something similar, but the Navy also has, and I'm prior Navy, just to let you know. But you can go to your first year of college for covered, right? And as long as you do the ROTC from that first year, you can decide whether or not you want to keep the scholarship. You all being athletes, this is a great opportunity for you. Applying for college ROTC is a great opportunity for you for those scholarships. Thanks for mentioning that. Also, other financial things. If you're capable of having a 529 plan or some type of college plan that's been set up for you by your parents, grandparents, anybody can contribute to this. I highly, highly, heavily recommend. One of the other things that I did, we came from humble beginnings, and everybody knows what that means. I saved all of my money. So when I got Easter money, Christmas money, birthday money, whatever money it was, I made sure that I put 90% of that money in my savings account. These days, I would highly recommend something high yield. But I put that money in there, and you put it in your 529 as well. but I put that money in there. So when I graduated from high school, I was able to pay for probably about $5,000 to $7,000 in cash of college. That also went along with my college scholarships as well. All right, did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, great question. Next up, who's got it?
I have a question.
Sure.
This is for Toby Hosford, if he couldn't be here. He said, what's one thing you wish you'd known before you started medical school?
One thing I wish I'd known before I started medical school. Probably two things. Number one, if you have an opportunity to do like a year abroad or a semester abroad or something like that, absolutely do it. I was so afraid that I would get off track. I was the first one in my family, essentially for everything, finished college, medical school, all the things. And so I thought I would get off track and I would end up being a negative statistic rather than a positive statistic. So I would definitely take the opportunity to go and experience something different. Learn another language, especially these days, you need to be multilingual. So I knew Spanish, but I could have done much better in Spanish. And I think taking a semester abroad would have helped me with that. So whatever language it is that you want to learn another language because it'll be easier for you when you get there. And I think number three is, you know what? I wish I would have known that I was going to achieve it. That would have probably kept some stress down, but I'll be honest with you. I was thinking about this question earlier. If I wasn't a little bit fearful and anxious, I may not have done as well as I did because this was a no-fail mission for me. I knew that I wanted to be a physician. I knew that I wanted to make a positive impact in my community and change lives. And I knew that I had to do this. So a little bit of stress, fear, and anxiety actually propelled me to be the best person that I could possibly be. So those are my reasonings.
Awesome.
Next question.
So what was like the average day of a medical school for you, and how much harder was it compared to high school and just like regular learning stuff in college, like undergraduates and stuff like that?
Yeah, how much harder? It was much harder. It was much more difficult. But what I will say is it wasn't as hard as it could have been had I not developed good study habits and had like a well-rounded life. I mean, I think as athletes, we all know how to like compartmentalize. It's like, okay, I have to do this in my schedule. I have to work out. I have to, attend these track meets or whatever you're doing, whether you're on the debate team or something like that. You create your schedule. And as you create your schedule, you realize, okay, this is what I need to do in order to study so that I can be successful on my testing. So having good testing skills is very important, but as well being well-rounded. A day in the life of a medical student, it changes a little bit because it depends on what year you're in. Your first couple of years sometimes is very lecture heavy. So you're in lectures all day. It feels like this is like all you do because you go to lecture, you read the book, you highlight the book, you take notes on the book, you take these tests, and then it feels like an all-day experience. When I look back at it, it wasn't actually that many hours in a day. It just felt like that because you were trying to be successful. As you move along and depending on how your school goes, you may have clinicals. So you'll be on rotations in the hospital or in clinics with different doctors doing different things. So I knew I wanted to be an OBGYN. So I was trying to get into the operating room. I was trying to get into the delivery room. Anything that was surgically associated, that's where I was trying to be. But you get an opportunity to rotate through all the different types of, I would say, residencies, which are different specialties when you're in medical school as well. And then you get time off, right? So you get Christmas break, you get spring break, you get summer break. And I would recommend that you actually take those times to relax, enjoy. If you're able to travel, be with your friends and family and experience different things. Over the summer, if you can work a little bit, then I would do that to, bring the coffers up and get some other experiences or do summer programs that are in the sciences or something else that you might like to do, So, and I would always say, keep up with your exercise, nutrition, and your sleep. Make sure you get those things. Very important. That will make you your optimal self.
So you mentioned your study habits before, and I was just wondering, how did you study and how did you manage your workload that you gave?
I will tell you, I had very good grades in high school. I had, very good grades in college, and medical school was a different experience. It was a different way of studying. So what I had to do is really get with people that got the concepts really well, and then sit down with them and create those study groups. As far as how I did it, I mean, it was probably only one or two subjects that were like a little bit difficult for me to grasp onto. And one of those was actually the menstrual cycle. I'm not sure why. Krebs cycle was easy. I wanted to be an OBGYN, but these hormones going up and down, I'm like, what's going on? And it really didn't click until I was well into residency and pretty much a staff explaining it to other people over and over again, that I was like, oh, I get it now. I just couldn't remember all the little hormones and where they were going. Another one is the Krebs cycle. That's one of those memorization things. And you really, if we could really connect the human body and the human experience to a lot of these medical school concepts, I think you would learn them and understand them much better. But what I would say is get with groups, download the book, do the summaries, go to class, ask questions in class, talk to your teachers, and try to connect what human body, disease, organ, or whatever this is, really with something lifelike for you in this book. Because for me, if I could connect those two, then I can remember it better instead of just memorizing it. Thank you so much. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
What I would say, my route to becoming a doctor, I did pharmacy first. And I always said that if I had studied like in pharmacy school, the way that I studied in medical school, I would have had straight A's all the way out. What I had to learn is that you had to stay caught up because you had classes and exams and blocks. And so you had to stay on top of everything. The other thing I learned too, going to medical school, is that everyone comes in, you're pretty much on the same playing field. Everybody's been at the top of their class. And so you come in where some people may think they're smarter than you and they're really not. Everybody comes in on the same level playing field, and you just have to stay on top of your study habits, stay focused, and just realize what you're there for. The question is, what would you say to someone considering marriage during medical school?
So who you just heard from is Dr. Sheila, who is a fellow OBGYN. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheila. What would I say? I would say if you fall in love and you find somebody, do it. Now, I'll be honest with you. Back in the day, I was like, I got things, I got goals and da-da-da-da-da. But it just so happened that, and my friends tell me, they're like, Kelly, you just love being in love. So I was always in love. But, you think about, okay, is this person going to be able to mature with you? Are they going to be able to navigate these roads with you? Medical school is not easy. We're not going to see each other. Residency, we're not going to see each other very much. And you got to make sure that you're making this work. And then being a staff member because you're just learning. But if you find that right person and you all are on the same page, I would say go for it. Go for it. Get married, have a family, do your thing, and, figure it out as you go. I wouldn't have told you that when I was 23. I wouldn't have said that. I would have said, get your degree, get your paper, and then we'll talk about marriage. But go ahead. And there's different ways that people come into the medical field, right? Everybody doesn't go to college, medical school, residency. That's not their path. Some people maybe this is their second career. So second career persons, or they've chosen a different path. They've gone off and they've, focused on classical music, English literature, something different, finance. And then they decided they wanted to be a physician. And so there's always areas where you'll find you're going to meet people that have taken a different path. That's why it's so important to talk to people, many different people, about how they got to where they are in their professional career, whether it's medicine or not. Next question.
I have actually a question about that. Because you mentioned that each people take a different path, and I think the field I'm most interested, the one I've kind of looked into most, is sports medicine. Mm-hmm. Like being a sports medicine doctor, not like a trainer that goes to the football games and that, but actually having my own office and being a sports medicine doctor. So I was wondering does that path differ slightly from that? Is that something I have to specialize in, or how does that process really work? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, so you can be a physician. You can be really any type of physician, but typically it's family medicine, orthopedic surgeon, sometimes internal medicine, and then people specialize in sports medicine. And it just depends on what you like. If you like, surgery and being in the OR, And then you want to do a sports medicine. If you want to look up Dr. Leah Brown, she is LEAHBROWN. She is an orthopedic surgeon that focuses on sports medicine. So she, is the orthopedic surgeon for NBA teams and that. So you can do that. There is also, like, I have a friend that's a family medicine physician and chose to do sports medicine. So they did their family medicine residency, so medical school, residency, family medicine, and then did a fellowship in sports medicine as well. So hopefully that answers your question. And then I saw a question that says, do I have any regrets? I was thinking about that earlier. I remember at one point, my best friend and I were talking and we were like, why did we do this? we could have been, chilling, doing something different in a different specialty, or, just not being physicians at all. But I'll be honest with you, I was called to the pulpit of medicine and specifically to be an OBGYN, and I would not trade it for anything. I absolutely love what I do, who I do it with, and why. Now, what I will say is, don't get yourself in a position where you're frustrated and burned out in your career so you don't like it anymore. It's very important to make sure that you manage and what I say my order of priority is God, self, family, and then career. Manage that well through my meditation, journaling, exercise, optimized nutrition, and sleep, so that I can enjoy what I do on a daily basis. Because once you burn out and once you get really tired of it, it really changes the trajectory of your career and what you're willing to do and not willing to do. And you make mistakes. So we don't need mistakes in medicine, especially amongst our people. Anybody else on the line that has regrets?
I wish I could have gone to medicine.
I do have something.
Yes.
So you say manage a burnout, and I'm kind of going through something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So can you sort of go in on that?
Yeah.
How you manage different things like that?
Sure, absolutely. So I think that what I like to do is something I've trademarked: portion control in my plate. And I'm not saying just food. I'm saying with everything you put on yourself, so it can be what's happening for you personally. Do you have any medical diagnoses? Do you have any financial difficulties that you're responsible for? And then also, what's your school load? What's your athletic load? What is your family responsibility? What is your community responsibility? What happens is a lot of times we put so much on ourselves and we put so much weight on us that we're carrying around this weight. And whether that is a spiritual, physical, financial, mental, and emotional weight, we're carrying that around. And then we're not able to do all the things that we want to do, and we're not finding joy in them. So I think really important that's why I use my journaling, and that's why I do my prayer and meditation. So I can really sit down and be on one accord with my higher power and myself and figure out, what is important to me? What brings me joy? What is my goal and my purpose and passion in life? And what is, being in the military, you always talk about having mission, vision, goals, right? And any organization will. But what are your personal mission, vision, and goals? And is everything that you're doing in alignment with that? And if it's not in alignment, then you're just going to have to let it go. And that's what we call forgiving and releasing it. We're going to have to let it go, have a conversation with people, and not be afraid. And don't be afraid to say, you know what, this is not for me right now. But what I do need to do is these things and concentrate on this so I can find joy and happiness. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. And I also do have a question. So did you have a support system during medical school, like groups you studied with and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. So all throughout. So high school, I had a great support system. College, definitely. Going to Xavier University was amazing. I went to a program called Howard Hughes the summer before I got there. And we essentially formed study groups. And you can do this when you get to your school as well. And they're small study groups. And we said, you know what are your goals being here? Well, I'm trying to be a doctor. What type of grades are you trying to get? What are you trying to do? And we kept each other essentially on the straight and narrow. Now, did we have fun? Did we party? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. But what I did know is, Friday at noon, I was going to be on the yard. I was going to be kicking it Friday afternoon, Friday evening, Saturday. But Sunday, Sunday through Thursday, that's the work week. And that's really how I live my life now. Sunday through Thursday is the work week, as far as preparing for the Monday through Friday. And so support groups are important. Your parents are important, or whoever your role model is in life, whoever your mentor is. You don't need a lot. You just need like one or few strategic people. But when you have your mission, vision, goals, and values outlined, you're not going to bring any negative energy into your life, because you're going to be very clear about who can come into your space and who needs to be outside of the space. And those support systems are really important, and they will continue on through the rest of your life. So I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So after my first year, yes, my soror's on the line. After my first year in school, I pledged as a sophomore, and that also set up a different group of women. And my friends were men in the fraternities as well, and some of them weren't. But it's just set up a different group so I can have different support networks when I needed them the most. Let's see. Find out what brings you joy and continue to do that. That was a question of the burnout question. Can you talk about your experience at Xavier? Absolutely. And a couple of other people on here can too. Let me tell you, that was the best. Okay. I always say that one of the best decisions in my life, that was one of the best decisions in my life. And the reason why, and I'm sure anybody that went to their HBCU and maybe their PWI as well, I'm not sure, but they can probably say this, but let me tell you, Xavier was a blessing. It was a blessing because I didn't have anybody in my family that was a doctor. I didn't have anybody in my family that I could call that had completed college, right? Or very few people. And when I got to Xavier, it was a warm welcome. It was very clear. We had J.W. Carmichael, who was our medical school program director advisor. Our college pre-med advisor and a team. And they didn't play. And I like that because that's the type of family I came out of. My mother was always like, you know what, whatever you want to do, we can do it, but we're going to stay focused on doing it. We had fun. We demonstrated excellence like in everything that we did. And you didn't feel like people were competing against each other. Sometimes you'll go to schools, they'll be like, look to your left, look to your right. This person's not going to be here. No, you are here. We want you here. And we want you to excel at what you're doing and be successful. Like I told you, I pledged. I was able to find, a gym down the street. So I worked out. I ate the good food, probably too much in my first semester of college. And, we went to summer programs. Like almost everybody went to a summer program, and we enjoyed ourselves. And then I remember leaving Xavier and I boo-hooed because I had such a good time. I had created such great relationships. And getting to medical school was a little bit different. So finding those relationships again was a little bit different, but I was able to find a very small group that helped me through it. And, I graduated in 98, got there in 95. And to this day, I could pick up the phone and call a person from Xavier, and I know that we are going to take care of each other. And that is just unheard of. So I get a little emotional about it, but XU rocks the house. Let's see. What is the most memorable experience you've had while attending Xavier? Oh, wow. So I just had my cousin on here last week. He's a gastroenterologist, double board certified internal medicine gastroenterologist. I remember when I met him, we didn't know we were cousins. We got there. I knew nobody at Xavier. And he was one of the first people I met, and we're still friends. I mean, very close today. Like we established our relationship. Of course, pledged in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, fall 95, October 21st. Yes, I remember the date and the time. That has been a great support network. I'm still an active member of the sorority today. Made such a difference. What else? I love my African American history class. Like I grew up mainly in a white suburb. So I didn't get a lot of African American history. And when I got there, I was like, oh my God, the Lord knew that I didn't need to know this when I was growing up, because I would have gave them teachers a lot of pain when I was in high school and elementary school, had I known all my history. But being able to know my history and seeing excellence. I mean, I remember first getting to Xavier and seeing a Black male with a 4.0 GPA. I had never seen that because I had the highest GPA amongst all the Black students in my school. So I hadn't met a Black man that had that level of, academic excellence. And there were several there at the school. So those are a couple of my great few memories: graduating, Super Bowl, Mardi Gras.
Oh, yeah.
The fun thing.
Oh, man. Food.
The fun things. And you know what? Being honest, I mean, you did, because we were there in New Orleans and you could drink at 18, walk down the street with alcohol in hand at 18. So I'm just telling you, like, making these good decisions. My mother did, you know, talk to me about a lot of these things, things that can throw you off track, you know, having children early and not being prepared for that. Alcoholism, drunk driving, all drugs, all of those things. When you go to college, you are very well, you know, much presented with that if you haven't already met with that. But I would say, as an athlete, as a, you know, child of God, as Margaret Elmore's child, more than anything, I knew what my job and my mission was. And if I could just stay focused and stay on track and not get too involved in those things, then I would be successful.
Yeah. Remember the all-nighters?
Yes. So that's funny. I didn't do all-nighters. I remember y'all did.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the reason why is because Kelly Elmore shuts down at 9:30. So I would go to sleep and then I would wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and study. And that's what I still do today. So yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions? Did I answer your questions? Was this worthwhile? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Let me know.
Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
What was your rank in the Navy?
So I retired as a captain 06. What I say, we are the 0.001% of the Navy, reason, or medical corps in the Navy. And the reason being because there's just not a lot of 06s, and there are definitely not a lot of Black female physician 06s either. There are very few, and I could probably name them all to you. But we are working on that. And you too could be an 06 in the Navy, Army, or the Air Force. Public health service too. So I would definitely say a couple of things to take away. What was it like when I first became a physician? Oh my God, I was so excited. I had a great experience, great residency. It was hard. I met a woman who's my best friend today, and we helped each other through residency. That first year, you're just nervous because you've learned all of this information, but at the end of the day, at some point, you are going to be the primary physician or surgeon, and that patient is going to be yours, and you're going to be fully responsible for that person, even though it's a team effort. But once again, creating that support network, having those mentors, having those role models, being honest, speaking up. If you know something, great. If you don't know something, speak up, staying humble, being confident where you can, but never be arrogant, and always listen to your patients. They will tell you everything you need to know about their diagnosis. And if not, you guys will figure it out together.
And listen to your nurses.
Yes. Oh, let me tell you about when you're a doctor and being having
your career.
Woo! So I will tell you, that is the best decision that you can make, is to get to know your nurses. Remember, everybody in the medical field, they're professionals and they're human beings. So don't do this like hierarchy thing, like I'm the doctor. No, boo. Don't do that. Because that will get you or your patient in a world of trouble. Get to know people, get to know them as human beings, get to know them as colleagues, and work together. There's so much intelligence in the room amongst the team, and you all will keep each other, number one, out of trouble, having bad outcomes, but number two, really moving forward the profession and taking the best care of the patient that you possibly can when you see people as your colleagues and fellow human beings. We didn't talk a lot about paying for medical school. Number one, for any school, get your scholarships and grants. I don't say that school should be free, because everybody that, you know, helps educate you, whether that be from the housekeeper to the chancellor or the highest ranking person there, everybody has to get a paycheck. Everybody has to get benefits. But I do say that you should be able to have your medical school as well as your undergraduate degree covered as much as possible if you do the work. Remember, I talked about save your money, ask your family and friends, get scholarships and grants. And if you need to work, then work a couple of hours. One of the things I did at Xavier was I did work in the computer lab. This is like almost the start of before Facebook, what was that, MySpace? So I worked in the computer lab and I got a lot of things started. I worked 20 hours a week. I was able to go on food stamps at that time, EBT. And so I was able to cover my food while I was in college, because like I said, we came from humble beginnings. So I didn't have a lot of money to, nobody was sending me money on a regular basis to pay for all the things that I needed, but you utilize your resources well. medical scribe as an option. Absolutely. Yeah, you could be a medical scribe, or figure out this whole AI and then work with a doctor so that you can help them do the scribing and go ahead, get paid so you can cover your school. All right. I think that's most of the questions. Hopefully that we were able to get through a lot of those questions. And if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me. You have my social media, Dr. Kelly OMD, DrKelly OMD, or Viva Life Health Hub, as well as my website, drkellyomd.com. But you can also go through your coach if you need to. Please, everybody, go ahead and share this with as many people as you possibly can. It will come out on YouTube. We'll send you the link because, you know, somebody's going to be able to learn from this. And you all are amazing students and potentially future medical professionals, healthcare professionals, and we need you. So we want to do whatever we can to support you in your dreams and your desires, as well as your careers. Stay focused, stay determined, and, you know, create the space that you want to be in, and it starts right here in your mind. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for being a part of the Viva Life experience. I'm Dr. Kelly OMD, board certified OBGYN and healthcare executive. If you like what you heard, then please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. The reason why is because we are trying to educate, encourage, and inspire 1 million people to live their healthiest and wealthiest life. And this is what we're bringing you. We're bringing you educational videos. We're bringing you podcasts. We are bringing you webinars with subject matter experts, including myself, about the topics that affect you the most. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. We are everywhere. Have a wonderful day. Viva Life.